Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. Today, I got an amazing top 100 deck for you for Historic today. Very pumped. Plus, additionally, this is a new archetype that's been introduced for us from Kaladesh. So, Planeswalkers, before we go ahead and check out this top 100 deck, we'll go into the main board, we'll go into the sideboard, we'll talk about how we pull those together for a best of 3, then we'll go play some competitive Magic in both best of 1 and best of 3. But before we do so, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, you can like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on daily videos like this. Additionally, you can follow my Mythic journey down below on my Untapped profile or share yours with me. I have the companion app down there for you too. And other ways to support the channel, feel free to become a patron, or you can also become a YouTube member down below there as well. So, Planeswalkers, without further ado, today's deck, my friends, that is a top 100, is I buried it there, an Orzhov Auras deck. That is correct. So, before we get into it, this one's pretty important. If you would like, there are timestamps down below, so you guys can skip to the portion of the video that you'd like. We're going to talk about the main board here and all of the sideboard and talk about how we're going to pull those two together. But before we do so, Planeswalkers, here, from a nomenclature perspective or naming convention, we have Orzhov, and Orzhov is white and black, or plains and swamp, giving us the Orzhov Guild from Ravnica. And then it's an Auras deck because everything revolves around some sort of aura card here. So it's either an enabler or it is actually an aura card. So this deck particularly prevails in definitely the early to mid-range game, so keep that in mind. And that the objective is really to load the board and take advantage of the draw. This particular deck, for the reasons that we'll talk about in a little bit, you can aggressively mulligan, so just keep that in mind because it does make a difference. And it piles on really fast, so keep that in mind. Planeswalkers, now, deck list is available for you down below in the description, so you have access to it right away. You can copy and paste it, or their deck list down there too. If you do have questions or comments throughout, please let me know down below. Always happy to answer those, or feel free to jump in the Discord servers in the description as well for you. So here we go. We got this Orzhov Auras deck. Quickly here, we will go through at a high level and see what we got going on, because then this is going to play into our one-by-one kind of card talk and analysis of the deck here. So first off, it is a companion deck. We do have Lurrus of the Dream Den here. This creature is our companion. They have lifelink. Additionally, each permanent card in our starting deck has converted mana cost to 2 or less. So again, that's permanence. And then during each of our turns, we may cast one permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from our graveyard. Pretty good. Yes, absolutely. Then we really tie off at 2, which is very important here. So very low mana curve, and that is historic for you. But here we have Elseed of Life's Bounty. This is an enchantment creature, a nymph. It's got lifelink. For 1, we can sack it. And target creature or enchantment, so don't forget that because that can be very important. We control gains protection from the color of our choice till end of turn. We got Cartouche of Solidarity, so this comes to us from the other remastered version, not Kaladesh, but Amonkhet. And here we can enchant creature we control. When it enters, we create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance, and the creature that we do enchant gets +1/+1, has vigilance. And this was a huge addition in and of itself because of the token generation. This deck can have problems if you don't have a creature. Obviously, you gotta land these somewhere. We got Karametra's Blessing. So this is an instant speed spell where our creature gets +2/+2, but bigger. If it's an enchanted creature or enchantment creature, it also gains hexproof and indestructible, which is very important. We got Selfless Savior here. The Selfless Savior is a personal sack creature here where another target creature we control gains indestructible until end of turn if you do sacrifice the poor puppy here. Then we have Sentinel's Eyes. This card is an enchant creature, so it's an aura card. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 plus vigilance, and then we can obviously escape it, or we exile 2 other cards from our graveyard and we can pull this back. Now, getting into the swamp or the black wheel component here of the colors, we got Hateful Eidolon. So this creature has lifelink. It's an enchantment creature, and whenever enchanted creature dies, we get to draw a card for each aura we control that was attached to it. So the biggest thing that a lot of people forget, and that you'll see with this deck in particular, is a couple things. When your creatures die, they have enchantments attached, you have this on the board, you are going to draw cards for that too. So this is going to tie us into Mogus's favor. If we play this on the offensive and get the +2/-1 and kill a creature, we'll draw a card. But again, on the flip side, with Hateful Eidolon, if we get killed and we have enchantments on our creatures, we're going to refill our hand, which is very, very important, and a really, really nice addition here with the Orzhov component of Auras. And additionally, so again, we have Mogus's favor, enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +2/-1. We can escape it for 3 and exile 2 other cards from our graveyard to bring this back. We got good old All That Glitters. So this here enchants creature. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment we control. So very powerful. This is a payoff card, absolutely. We have Angelic Gift. So Angelic Gift here gives us flying. So this is kind of the workaround not having blue here. But when it enters the battlefield, we also get to draw a card, and enchanted creature has flying. So very, very nice. And then the other 2 payoffs we'll get to here. So we got Core Spirit Dancer. So we got this from Jumpstart. It's a core wizard. Core Spirit Dancer gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. And then whenever we cast an aura spell, we may draw a card, which is very, very important. And then additionally followed up with the key component here from Kaladesh is SRAM, Senior Artificer. So SRAM made this deck more valuable. And also made the Auras decks more valuable. So whenever, again, we cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, we get to draw a card. So like Core Spirit Dancer, we get the same thing. Not as much value as this grows really, really fast, but we still get the 2/2 body and another opportunity to hit. And getting 7 of these within a deck gives us a nice little greater than 1 in 10 odds of having this in our starting hand, which is very, very big and adds to that ability to aggressively mulligan. We got Agadim's Awakening. So here's a modal land from Zendikar's Rising. We can return from our graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a converted mana cost of X or less. So very powerful. If we lose Lurrus, we can go 3 and get everything back here from a 3-cast spell to 2-cast casting cost or a 1 and reload. And again, as a modal land, we can have this enter the battlefield tapped, or we can have it enter and pay 3 life for a swamp mana source. And then we got Bright Climb, Grim Climb Pathway here. So modal lands are making their way into good old historic as well. We have Concealed Courtyard. So again, another one coming out of Kaladesh, making an impact where it enters the battlefield tapped unless we control 2 or fewer other lands. Godless Shrine and Isolated Chapel. So that is the deck here for Orzhov Auras. This particular one, again, was a top 100 deck. And I should have mentioned that this is by the player of Soul4Rs1. So congratulations, Soulfars1, on hitting top 100. Again, this one is also from the November season, but still an absolutely competitive deck and a powerhouse. Next, we're going to talk about the sideboard. So here we got Karametra's Blessing. We already talked about it. You're going to want to play this against stuff that are a 1-for-1 trading on your cards, giving your creatures hexproof, or things that are trying to board wipe you. Again, giving you indestructible. This is going to be very, very important for you. You're going to want to play this in particular against control decks. We did good old Gandalf the other day, so you guys should check that out actually yesterday, which is Azor's Control. So anything that's trying to board wipe, and then anything that has direct control, you're going to want to absolutely play this. This could be against certain versions of Sultai. It could be certain versions of John Sack, where they're trying to pull your creature and sack it, or doing direct damage as well with the good old devil there. So those are a couple things to keep in consideration for Karametra's Blessing. And then additionally, as a blocker and having that ability to keep your creature up when Muxus is coming in, you may want to do that and put that on a good old lifelinker, and surviving a turn may be the difference in the game. So I would particularly look at it as kind of twofold. It can fit well in the aggro, can fit well in the mid-range, and can fit well in the late game, just depending on what your opponents are doing and what their strategy is. Next, we have Deadweight. So Deadweight plays well into Hateful Eidolon. Here, you're going to play it against... well, first off, the card is an enchant creature, gives them -2/-2. You're going to play this against aggro-based decks. These are going to be things like Mirror Match. It's going to be things like UW Auras or Azorus Auras. You're going to want to play it against Goblins. This is going to hit most of the gobos. You're going to want to play this against Gruul aggro, and you're going to want to play this against mono red aggro. And you may even want to play it against certain burn decks too, because then this will get your lovely 1/2 off from Amonkhet. Also, that gives you the negative or the counters. So lots of good spots there for that one. You're not going to want to play it. You could play it against mono black aggro too. That could be pretty important, and vehicles might not be bad. Neostorm might be good as well, and then elves and mono green Stompy, and also Rakdos Arcanist. Then we got Hateful Eidolon. So we talked about this card already. Similar style. You're going to play this if you are playing more creature-based decks for that additional draw and that ability to take their creature off. So all the same decks that we covered with Deadweight is where I'd put Hateful Eidolon in. Thoughtseize. So this is a really nice addition that you get in the Orzhov Auras deck here, or Orzhov Auras deck, because you're adding in Swamp. So Thoughtseize, for those of you that are unfamiliar with this card, most of you probably are, but I know there's a lot of new players, or a lot of new players that want to cut over into Historic. Here, target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards a card, and then you lose 2 life. So with Thoughtseize here, the big one you're going to play it against is mid-range and late game. So you're going to play against the control decks with this. You're going to play against the 4-color sultai, essentially sultai +1. But that's where I would play that. I would also play it against the Azorus control one, Neostorm decks as well. You could play it against Rakdos Arcanist if you wanted to, sultai mid-range. Those kinds of things are all going to be great ones for you to consider. And then God Pharaoh's Gift could be an option there as well. So decent spots to play this. You could also play it against mono red aggro, or mono red burn as well. That might not be a bad choice. Then we have Apostle of Purifying Light. So here we get protection from black, and we also get the ability to exile target card from a graveyard. You're going to want to play this against Euro decks. You're going to want to play this against Sultai, Simic, those kinds of things. Anything leveraging a graveyard. Jund's Sacrifice is going to be a big one as well. Rakdos Arcanist is going to be a big one, and potentially God Pharaoh's Gift as well, and mono black aggro. Anything utilizing that graveyard that you need to take out, anything else that's running Azorus Auras, UW Auras, Azorus UW Auras is the same thing, Orzhov Auras, running Luris, the rogues decks that are in there too, you're going to want to play this, and that's going to be a big difference for you. And then last but not least, we got Mire's Grasp. So again, we're shifting with Mire's Grasp to a more offensive deck. This is Enchant Creature. Enchant Creature gets -3/-3. It's a nice little strap. You're going to play this, particularly again against mirror matches. You're going to play it against UW Auras. You're going to play it against mono black aggro. You're going to play it against mono red aggro. You're going to play it against goblins. You're going to play it against creature-based decks. And it's going to be your friend. You're going to play it against mono black aggro. Lots of great spots for this one to fit in. You could play it against Neostorm too, because again, if you can get the creatures off the board, they can't do anything, you're going to be good. A combination between that and Thoughtseize is going to lock the board up really, really quick for you. So Planeswalkers, that is the main board, that is the sideboard. We are now going to talk about how to pull these two together for best of 3 and how we would do it from an aggro, mid-range, and a late game matchup. So first off, when we talk about aggro, I think tricks are important. Karametra's Blessing is nice. Deadweight's probably going to help you. Hateful Eidolon's probably going to help you. And then Mire's Grasp. So if we go 2, 3, let's call it 6. If we go 6 on this deck, where would I look to optimize? Well, first off, I actually would probably pull up Mogus's Favor for 4 because I'm not necessarily pumping my own creatures and trying to get the advantage. I'm actually trying to be more focused on taking off my opponent's creatures. It's going to work. This one works okay against goblins, but once you get outside that, you're going to get some bigger creatures relatively quickly. So you're probably going to want to go the other route and remove these. The other ones I would look to get rid of, to be honest, I'd maybe cut a couple Sentinel's Eyes. I like First Strike always. I like the Creature Edition always. I like the ability to have that trick like I talked about already. The other thing that you could consider is maybe dropping Angelic Gift. I like the ability to go over the top as kind of a finisher, but we don't have a ton of options for that. So if you just want to control the board and really focus on locking things down, you can always get rid of that. You're going to want to keep your draws. So between that, we got 4. You could have 2 more there, and even 3 here. That's gonna give you 9. Really good spot there in terms of aggro matchup and kind of how I would think there. Getting a little aggressive with my hands. Let's see how many lands we got. We got 20 lands, so again, very aggressive. I wouldn't change that, to be honest. And again, we got a modal, so I'm okay with that. And that's kind of how I would look at it. Next, when we talk about mid-range, these are going to be things potentially like some of your sultai decks. They could be things like sacrifice decks, rakdos aggro decks, Rakdos Arcanus decks, Neostorm potentially, even though it's a quick combo, some of those things. So some of the things that are not pure aggro can straddle, early game to late game as aggro or mid range is defined. I would look again. It's going to depend on what they're playing. If they're not creature heavy, I'm not gonna toss in some of these things like Mire's Grasp or Deadweight to take them off. I'll be more focused again. However, Neostorm you could. I'm going to be more focused on potentially at this point Thoughtseize, depending on what they're playing, potentially Apostle of Purifying Light, and again, depending on what they're playing, maybe Karametra's Blessing. If they are more creature heavy, then you're going to switch back like you did on the aggro decks, but you're probably going to add in Thoughtseize. So we'll go for another kind of 8 cards here. Again, me personally, what I would do is if you are targeting creatures, you're going to drop Moga's Favor. If you're not, you're probably going to leave this in. I would maybe drop 2 Sentinel's Eyes. Like I said, if you need the trick, I would keep it. If you don't, and they're not playing that kind of game, then you could always drop Karametra's Blessing, not necessarily pull it in like I already mentioned. Or, again, Angelic Gift's a good spot. Other than that, I would probably leave the deck intact from that perspective. All right, so now, and not least, but we'll close out with late game. So late game is going to be things like UW control. It could be ramp decks. You could consider more of a Godpharaoh's Gift deck. You could consider colorless ramp deck. Sometimes sultai ramps, Simic ramp. Some of those other things as well. So really the focus here is going to be not excelling at the early game like creature-based decks, not being a control deck in the mid-range in terms of having a decent matchup on both ends, but really focusing on locking down the board and doing some sort of late-game mechanic, just like the UW control deck that we just covered yesterday. So with that said, what would we put in? I would put in Karametra's Blessing because there's probably an ability to wipe the board or target your creature. I would probably drop Apostle I probably wouldn't play Deadweight. I probably wouldn't play Mire's Grasp. I would definitely play Thoughtseize. I would consider possible Purifying Light again if they're leveraging the graveyard. UW Control does not, so I would not play that. But if they're running Euro or something like that, you might want to. So that's a thought. And then at least a Thoughtseize. And then you could always add a Hateful Eidolon and add another creature and just get the bodies on, get the lifelink, and get the draw going. So that could be another consideration for you. So if we go 1, 2, maybe 6, we'll call it 6. What would I change up here? 1, you're not going to need Sentinel's Eyes as much. The trade-off, though, that I didn't mention is that you're going to lose a cheap target here, which can be very important. So keep that in mind, but you can keep it with Mogus's favor. Sentinel's Eyes is nice, but you're not going to have to worry about the creatures, so you don't necessarily need to keep them up, and that's why I'm bringing that one up. Again, you might not have to worry about Angelic Gift. That could give you 7 right there in terms of trading things in or out. And then the other one that I'd maybe drop is, generally in Control, I like to favor, at least in my opinion, depending on the kind of deck that you're running against, I would either favor Selfless Savior or Elseed's Life's Bounty, and you can make that choice, and that's going to round out kind of how I would cut and swap things in. So Planeswalkers, we've talked about the main deck, we've talked about the sideboard, and we've talked about how to combine those for our best 3 matches. I'm going to go play some competitive Magic with this Orzhov Auras deck. That's top 100. Super excited about it. Again, hats off to our friend here, Soul 4R1, something like that. I apologize, I probably butchered that. But really, really looking forward to this. Again, like I said, this was a big component coming out of good old Kaladesh, which is interesting, to be honest, because most of the stuff was already there. The engines that it picked up, though, are SRAM, so it was nice to see SRAM making an impact enough to also go the Orzhov route, which is pretty cool. All right, Planeswalkers, let's hop into it here and play some. There's the good old Mono Blue Devotion deck from Standard. You guys should check that one out. There's the 5-colored Shrine ones I just did. You guys can absolutely check that one out as well. And traditional Historic Rank. So we played the Brad Barclays card, our deck, from the championship. Absolutely awesome deck. You guys should check it out. But today we are playing Orzhov Auras. So we'll go ahead and play our Historic Ranked first. That drives me nuts that one goes that way, but I think it's like lovely bell curve there. So anyway, I digress. Here we go. Into the matchup, Planeswalkers. Super excited about this. We are going to play Tea Time 100, but before we do so, as always, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there, or feel free to become a member. Like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this. Additionally, other ways to connect. Feel free to hop into the Discord channel or become a patron. Other ways to support the channel down below in the description. And obviously all the benefits and ways to interact. All right, so here's what we got going on. We have a Core Spirit Dancer. We have a SRAM. We have some payoff stuff. We are going to go first, and I am going to keep this, even though we don't have a 1-drop. So we'll play Godless Shrine, and then we will go into Pathway. It does slightly matter in the way that we want to play this. I'm gonna go like this. I'm not gonna lead here. Okay, I'm not gonna lead here. I'm actually gonna play this first. So we wanna bait it. All right, so it's Goblin's deck. So now, because it's a Goblin's deck, we have to play differently, and we also have a nice little need for speed here, so we'll pay the 3 life, we'll play this. So now next turn, we can play Shran. We need a land. We can definitely play Sentinel's Eyes too. So we just need to figure out how we're going to do this. So they're either going to go find a good old Gabo to... so they got the Mythras, so it's more about gaining life here. Alright, so we have this. I might just go straight to it, to be honest. And we can get real aggressive. So the thing here that's not going to matter at this point, 100% not going to matter, and we've already clinched the match against goblins, is you could save this for them to worry about their casting costs. They're not going to be able to remove Core Spirit Dancer at this point because we got this bad boy. So we literally have game turn 5 here. Doesn't matter. I don't care if they get Mythras on the board. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm probably going to eat my own for saying that, to be honest, because they could flood the board enough. They could flood the board enough. They have enough to get everything on there and get Mythras on, but they're going to have to hit enough, and they're going to have to hit an aggro. They're going to have to hit another Skirk Prospector to get enough to hit this through. But again, probably spoke early, so I'm probably going to eat it for saying that, but this is going to be they literally have to draw lethal here, which they did not hit. Oh, there they go though. So now they got the Skirk Prospector, so they can play that again. So now what they need to do is they need to try it again, or they need to put in this guy. So they can drop the Wileys, they can drop Ringleader, and pull this guy in. And that will give them Cranko, and then Cranko they can keep going. The key, though, is they're going to have to get enough in here. So we'll see. If they have another... So it'll cost them 2. It's going to be close. And of course, I'm going to eat it for saying this. So they either need another Cranko. They're probably good. 2, 4. That's 12, 15, 17 right there. I can only block 2. I ate it. I ate it. Oh, they have lethal. They have lethal. I deserve that. I deserve that. So what you do is you block like this, and then you would take the next one here. If I had first strike, you would hit this guy. I deserve that. 100% for saying that I thought that I had to win. And that, my friends, is historic at its finest. So close. They turned 4. They did me on turn 4. Turn 4 with good old Mythras. I was 1 turn behind. Was there anything that I could have done differently? If I would have played 1 more creature or had a turn 1 drop, that could have been different. So let's go ahead into our second best of 1 match. Really, really fast. Not surprised, to be honest. I really, really enjoy it. But again, got a little bit cart before the horse there. I deserve it. My nemesis we have next here. So I will keep this. We're going to be a little slow, but we'll try it. We do have a turn 1. So that's a nice Kaladesh card here. So this could be a Rakdos Arcanus deck. They didn't drop a Thoughtseize on us the first one here. Agonizer Remorse is going to hurt. So now we lost our card draw. But we got this one now. I'm just debating on this. It's a tough call. I didn't delay like I did on the other one. We'll see. I could pay for it dearly though. If they don't remove Core Spirit Dancer though, they're going to be in a world of hurt. There we go. So they're looking like an Arcanus deck. Two or fewer lands. There we go. So next turn, we'll probably pull Polaris back, to be honest, and we'll go from there. I will even play this so that if they want to make me discard, we'll go for it.
Here be monsters.
So he could take L-Seeds, but he can't sack it.
No fire, no steel.
So we still have Agadeems. Eight? Not lethal yet. We're very close. Very close.
I know. I am hot, aren't I? Yup, you're going down.
Boom, there we go. So pulled through against a Rakdos control deck to some extent there. Very, very nice, very smooth. Let's go into our best of three matchup now. So again, cocky on the Goblins deck, but again, that's how it goes. So historic ranked, traditional ranked. We did the historic ranked, so here's our best of three. Let's go into that. Planeswalkers. Now, as always, a huge thank you. These matches are so fast, I swear. Minus the control deck, obviously. Appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Feel free to become a member. Lots of ways to be connected and lots of benefits there for you as well. Or please like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on daily videos like this. And other ways to connect and support the channel down below in the description. You can become a patron. You can jump into the Discord and hang out with all of us. Always appreciate that too. And lots of fun. So, all right, here we go. Haoshoku. So this is the first time that we've played now that we haven't hit a payoff. So this is a tough one for me to keep. I'm going to keep it. Yeah, I'm going to mulligan. Well, my debate here is with Hateful Eidolon, to be honest. I get my one drop. I can get stuff on it and build quickly, and then if I lose it, I get the draws. But I'm not getting the gain, so I'm going to try it. Oop. Tricked you. I'm going to try it. So we had a control deck. So I can live with that, to be honest. I am going to do this. And then I'm going to do this. So if that dies, I get some nice draws. Alright, there we go. I can live with that. Probably could have played that, actually. Playing a little fast. My style. Playing my style. Fast games. So if they have an exile, we're going to be in trouble. If they don't, then we're okay. Oh. So I will do this. I'm going to load up. So literally, we should be okay here. There we go. The keep worked. Okay. So we have a control deck. We're going to need to do a couple things here. So we could exile from graveyard. We didn't see enough. We could go Eidolon again. Worked out well. We're not going to play that. We're going to want Thoughtseize, to be honest. Karametros we're probably going to want. Let's drop Angelic Gift. Is not going to help us. And the Mogus Favor was nice, but we don't need that. Sentinel's Eyes is going to work better, and we'll go from there. And then if they start playing on the graveyard, we'll pop this, and we do have the Hateful Eidolon. We'll keep it at 3 for now. I'm fine with that. So let's see what we got. Shoku it is. Ooh. Going to keep it. Probably a mistake. We'll see. I played way more aggressive on the other one. It's actually a sultai, so that's good to know. Shoot. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to play these. Yeah, there's the good old Heartless Act. So made 2 mistakes already. And they have Graveyard, so now we need to bring Apostles in. So it was a sultai deck, which is fine. So if they hit 4, we're hosed, so let's get rid of Neutralize. Doesn't matter. They can pick their poison at this point. Got 6. So they can go 4 of. I gotta think about this. So we'll play this. We can cause them. So we can either take it out of their hand with Thoughtseize. Or we can give them +2/+2 till end of turn. I might do that. Because then that's going to delay a Euro turn. Hopefully. There we go. So we got the result that we wanted. Now we can look. So if they play Euro, oh, that works. We'll draw a card. We're gonna do this on the stack so they can't respond. Here we go. Ah, shoot. I'm gonna hold this one. That was my bluff. Here comes Euro. Now, we can deal with this if we get one more channel. So we'll see. Oh, shoot. Not good. Not good, my friends. We got a long way to come back. Oh, no. Long way to come back on this. Yeah, we figured it was a shark. Alright, we're gonna go to the next match because we're not coming back from that. Could have seen when we drew, but it wasn't gonna happen. We need to rechange this up again. So let's drop all the Mogus's favors. We're gonna want the gifts. And we're going to want the apostles. So that gives us 4. So we need to dump a few things here. Hateful Eidolon's not bad. But I'm actually going to drop those. And then let us drop... because we need this to pull the Euros out. I'm going to get aggressive and drop the planes. Go to 20. I don't like being flooded. I really don't like being flooded. Alright, we'll play first. Oh. Of course, we get a no-land hand. That's how Magic works. Alright, here we go. Not good. This is not good. We're going to keep it, though. And I'm going to drop a land. I'm literally keeping this. I'm literally keeping this for no good reasons, to be honest. I'm getting real aggressive because I need to. There we go. I can deal with that. Two can play this game. So they can choose to eat their guy now, or not. And we also have first strike. So Luris has less value, and we'll see. They got the bodies right now. If they remove Elsie, we're going to be in a huge, huge problem. It is a sultai control deck, which is really tough to play against. Either way. So... have to get rid of my own stuff, which is painful. So painful.
The shadows awaken. Among us.
Ugh. No bueno, my friends. We are going to run into a lot of issues here. Gotta win the early match. Gotta win the early match. Probably could have been a little bit more aggressive. This is a tough matchup. Sultai is a really, really tough deck in best of 3 right now.
Given for.
And there is no coming back for us, so we're gonna end the game and get out of here. So Planeswalkers, that is the deck. That is the Orzhov deck, Auras deck. Super, super fun. Unfortunately, did not pull through for us today in the best of 3. Again, that matchup's a little tough. You know, got a little was too excited about the Muxus matchup, but that's how it goes. Should have known better. Been a while, but that's how it happens. So let's go ahead and check out the deck. Again, this is the Orzhov Auras deck, a new one from Kaladesh. Again, particularly because of Shram. Not that we couldn't have done it before. I think it's just gained in popularity again. This particular one is a top 100 deck. Here's what we got on the board. I think we did a nice job on the boarding. We just did not line up right. Probably could have been more aggressive on this. We did have that first no land hand, which again happens, and that is how it goes. So Planeswalkers, 1-1 and best of 1. I really, really like this deck. Best of 3. Couldn't cut it. Would have been nice to take it down, but that is how it goes, Planeswalkers. So hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Again, questions or comments, let me know down below. Always happy to help. And then, as always, Planeswalkers, thank you. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch, stay up to date on daily content like this. All right, Planeswalkers, until next time, you stay safe. We'll see you again soon. You take care and stay tuned. Mythras out.